Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to this beautiful, beautiful sunshine, blue sky day here on the Suffolk coast. I am absolutely in awe of this morning. It's so beautiful. After our long dark winter, thanks Joe. Here we are on this beautiful day. I had to bring you down to the beach today, so if you'll excuse the sound of the stones as I'm walking on them. I hope it's not too loud when you're listening to this, but I had to bring you down here, so I'm not going to apologise because it is absolutely beautiful today. Welcome along to the Suffolk coast, where I live. It's a beautiful part of the world, and welcome along to the walk and talk this morning. Now, if you're new here, this is what this is all about. I go for a walk and talk about different subjects that are on my mind for the day. Today I'm going to be squinting a little bit because the sun is so bright, so please excuse that. And if you're new here, welcome along. If you're a returning subscriber, all 261 as of today, woohoo! Thank you so much. I'm honoured and in awe of so many people are willing to listen to me have a rant and having a conversation walking along in beautiful locations. Well, I mean, if nothing else, you get to see some beautiful places. It really is. So today I'm going to be doing a discussion about something someone asked me to do. It's a good friend of mine, James, who's asked me to do this discussion because, as I've said, all the points that I've talked about over the last about 6 months or something have been all linked together in some way. A lot of them are about the current crisis we're going through, the crisis, of course, because everything's a crisis nowadays. Today's subject is a little bit different, but it does tie in. So today we're going to be talking about insecurity and self-confidence. And if you're having those issues, everybody does. I don't care who you are. I don't care how confident people appear on the outside. Like me, people say to me, "How are you so confident all the time?" Well, I'm not. That's the whole point. Everyone has self-confidence and insecurities about themselves. And how do you deal with that? So now over the many years, many years, I have dealt with self-confidence issues myself. As I've said in previous videos, when I was young, my teeth were crooked, and it was always a big thing for me that I didn't like my teeth. So when I got an opportunity, I spent a lot of money on them. And the irony, fate it seems, is not without a sense of irony. The irony is that during this lockdown, I've lost a tooth. Well, one of my teeth that I broke when I was eating a plum once many years ago. Decided to come out, and I haven't been able to visit a dentist. So it's made me confront those self-confidence issues all over again by dealing with it, And I think, where the biggest issue for me, especially with self-confidence and with insecurity, was many years ago when I was at school, when I was maybe 14, I think, 13 or 14. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I don't understand why I did it. I signed up for a public speaking event, Rostrum Public Speaking, which is an event for school-age children, where you go and pick a subject, and then you have to do a public speech about it in front of a group of people that are equally there to do speeches. Now, I don't know why I signed up for this. I have no idea, but I did, and I didn't prepare. I was completely unprepared, as with most things in my life. But I went into this thing, and on the day that I was due to do this talk, I just completely forgot about it. And on the day that I was due to do this talk, the teacher who signed me up said, "Are you ready for the event tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course I am." And inside me, I was going, shit, what do I do now? So I thought, well, I'll just go home and I won't go. So I went home, and there was a girl I went to an all-boys school. There was a girl that I know went to the girls' school, our sister school, if you like. And she was going on to the event. My parents were working, I think. But she said, how are you going to the event? And I said, well, I probably won't go. She said, oh, don't worry, we'll come and pick you up. So then at this point I was like, shit, completely unprepared. Nothing ready. So all the way there in the car, I'm thinking, Christ, what am I going to do now? I'm not prepared for this thing at all. And I get there, sitting there, still went along, sitting there, still thinking to myself, Christ, what am I going to do here? And then they called my name to go up and speak at the lectern, the podium. And it's still, to this point, I was still thinking, fuck, what am I going to say? Nothing, absolutely nothing. So I get up and I stand there and I say, they have a timer, it's like 3 minutes, I think. It's the longest 3 minutes of my life, it really is. And they start the timer and I said, today I'm doing a talk about nuclear weapons and why I think they're bad and why they could destroy the planet. And I went on this 3-minute rant. I don't know what I said. It's all sort of a blur or a blank, or it's. And I ended with when the bell rang, ding, and that would create, it would destroy the Earth and create a black hole and suck the whole universe into it. Thank you. That was. That's how bad it was. It was shocking. And everyone just sort of sat there for a moment, just looked at me like, what the frick just happened? And I sat down. So I swore to myself that I was never going to do something like that, a public speaking event especially. Usually I'm prepared for most things, but I was never going to go into a public speaking event unprepared with the subject material. At least I'd understand the subject material. Hence, when I do these videos, I do a lot of research, I read a lot of things. People call it conspiracy theory, of course, but I do a lot of research from different websites and different books and things. And I swore I'd never go into something without having at least a basic understanding of the subject material that I'm going to be talking about. So when I do public speaking now, and it doesn't happen very often, I do some TV work from here and there. That was based off a world record I set 5 years ago or something. Absolutely ridiculous, of course. But I do some TV work here and there. But when I go into it, I'm not afraid to say I don't know, because that's, I think, one of the biggest problems that we come up against is people, they think they have to know everything, and of course you can't. I know a little bit about a lot of things, so I can hold a conversation generally with someone about different things, but I'm not afraid to ask questions either and say, well, I don't know, I've never heard of it, I don't know anything about it. And I think a lot of self-confidence issues come from those kind of circumstances where they don't know. But there's nothing wrong with not knowing something. You can't know everything. I've been a chef for 30 odd years. I sometimes work in kitchens where they're doing techniques and working with ingredients I've never seen before. And I'm not afraid to admit it. But you've worked in kitchens for 30 years, so people try and belittle you and put you down and make out like you should know everything. But the reality is you can't, and you never will. You can be well read, you can be well versed, you can have a very strong vocabulary. You can use words that people don't use very often to confuse them. But at the end of the day, you're never going to know everything. And while people will try and put you down for that, and they'll try and make you feel bad, or they'll try and, because people, not everyone, but a lot of people will put you down, and because by putting somebody else down, it lifts them up, or they think that it does. It just makes them, look a bit petty to me. But there's lots of reasons why we lack self-confidence, but that's one of them. If you go into a situation completely unprepared, and you're going, especially if you're going to talk about something that you don't have a strong information about, don't be afraid to say that you don't know. Don't put yourself in situations like I did, where you're going to go and speak in front of a group of people without having at least something prepared. Now, I read a lot. I read a lot of content from writers. I watch some videos, some YouTube videos, some really amazing creators of content and information on the internet. I read books, not so much anymore. I loved reading for a long time. I don't read fiction much anymore, but I've read every self-help book you can imagine. So self-help books, it's kind of an oxymoron if you think about it, because self-help book means that somebody else is doing something to help you, help yourself. Yeah. But you know, I've had such good information coming from these kind of sources. Let me see, I'll quote some of the books. Dr. Susan Jeffers, I think her name was, did a book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. One of the best books I've ever read. I mean, amazing, because it is literally about, you know, feeling fear of doing something that's outside of your norm, outside of what you would normally do, outside of your field, and getting past that fear and going and tackling and trying it anyway, because you never know what you're going to like, you never know what you're going to be good at unless you try something, and you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to look bad. You have to be willing to, you know, to look stupid. You have to be, if you can't have a bit of humility and be able to laugh at yourself and your failures, well, that's the other thing, is the word failure. You know, when you do something, especially like for the first time, and it doesn't work out the way that you think it will, you're not so good at it, you need some more practice, then it's not a failure, it's a learning experience. If you look at it as a learning experience, it's hard when you fail at something, or when you perceivably fail at something. But that's the thing, if you take something from it, if you take from the learning experience of it and you apply that, like my public speaking event back in high school, and you can use that and better yourself and win from it, then it's not a failure. You know, have a look at all the most successful people in the world, and they've all failed at some point. Billionaires have never made their billion the first time. You know, look at Amazon started out as a business in someone's garage that was selling books. Everyone laughed at it at the start. Look where they are now. Google, the same thing. You know, every large company in the world, every billionaire, every multi-millionaire has failed at something, and they've taken that failure and learned from it. Does it sort of break down your self-confidence and give you maybe some insecurities, like, oh, you know, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was? Of course it does. But, you know, you have to be able to get back on that horse. And, you know, the Susan Jeffers book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, you know, amazing piece of work. Then there's Greg Braden did a book called The Divine Matrix. I mean, I love that book. Just and the Matrix, of course, you know. If you haven't seen my videos before, The Matrix is the best movie ever made by far. And if you don't think so, you don't understand it. So, I mean, that's a bold claim, but it is. I mean, it is the greatest film ever made. You know, it's philosophy for the masses. It is existentialism, theology. I mean, it's everything in there. If you have a look at the names of the characters, Morpheus. His ship is called the Nebuchadnezzar. Who's the Nebuchadnezzar? This is the thing. There's history. There's philosophy. There's everything in that movie. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting off the track. Matrix, best movie ever. So The Divine Matrix by Greg Braden. Amazing book. Really incredible book. And there's these kind of tools that can help you understand, you know, where those self-confidence issues come from and how you can deal with it. You know, because while you might feel that fear, and you might feel you're alone and disconnected and you know, you're lonely. You know, we can all feel that way. We can feel lonely in a crowded room of people because you don't have that connection to, really strong connection to other people. Now, the other thing that sort of really strikes me about self-confidence, and this is the thing that my friend was talking about, is when other people are putting you down for something that you're doing. Now, it's quite often, like in sports and things like that, people will trash talk you and they'll put you down because they know that it's going to get to you. And the question you have to ask yourself is, why is this triggering me so much? And I am, you know, as well, I won't say guilty of it, but I have the same feelings as everybody else does. I don't like it. when people put me down. I don't like it when people are trash talking me. No one likes it. But the question you have to ask yourself when you get into these situations is, why is this person, quite often someone that you don't even know or doesn't know you, why is their opinion so important to me that it triggers an emotional response? You know, I had one of my wonderful subscribers comment. All my subscribers are awesome because there's so many beautiful comments and such love going through the comment section of my videos. But one of the subscribers, commented this morning on one of my videos saying about the trolls. You know, he gets them as well. Everybody does. And it's not just on YouTube, but it's the trolls in your life when you go through your life, and people that, if you're playing a sport, people are going to put you down, or you can't do this, or you're shit at that. You know, why do their words cut you so deep? Why is that? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Why is this stranger's opinion of me so important? You know, it hurts more when it's for your friends and family, of course, that are supposed to know you, when they seemingly attack you. But is it really about you? Are they attacking you, or do they see something in themselves that they don't like in you? Does that make sense? It's like a mirror. You know, we're all guilty of it. Quite often what happens is, when you are attacking someone for a habit or a phrase, or whatever it is, and quite often that is a reflection of how you feel about you. Does that make sense? So when someone else is attacking you, quite often it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. Now, this is also psychology, and and I'm sure that there's some psychologists who are going to see this, who are going to say, well, actually it stems from, and that's awesome. If you have a clinical background in that and you can explain it better than I can, then awesome. Please feel free to leave a comment and let me know. But quite often what I've found is we seek self-confidence. Have a look at the word self, you, confidence in yourself. Confidence in yourself. But quite often we seek that self-confidence from outside of ourselves. So we only feel confident in ourselves when we have that praise from outside, or if we have an approval from people outside. Now, that kind of defies the whole thought and the whole concept of self-confidence. Now, I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I was working for a restaurant. I was there for about 4 and a half years, which is a long time for a chef to be in one place. And it was easy for me. It was comfortable. I had an awesome team. They could run the place. I mean, really, I could sleep through the job. I enjoyed it. I built a really strong team. We had a good menu. We made everything on site. It was a good place. I really enjoyed it. But it got to that point where the company was making decisions that I didn't like. And it was comfortable for me in this job. I was well paid. But I had to make a decision about what was important to me, and it was a hard decision because I was really happy with my colleagues, with my team, but I just couldn't deal with the way that the company wanted to run this business anymore. So I had to hand in my notice without a job to go to, with no clear direction. I called my wife and I said, I'm quitting today. Is that okay? And she said, well, I trust that you'll work it out. Go ahead, So the reason I'm telling this story, I'll get to it, that I left that job and I applied for work with a big name chef group here in the UK. It's around the world as well, big name, and I got the job with this company. And it's a big name, it's a chef-owned business. I won't go any further than that. But big name. They were starting a new brand, and they asked me to be the head chef of the new brand. Now, that to me that filled me with so much confidence, because I thought, wow, if this big brand, this chef, this big name believes in me, then maybe I should feel better about myself. So it wasn't in that way. I was I had validation, and that confidence about myself came from outside. So I've since looked back at it and I thought, why did it take someone outside of me to be able to recognize what I bring, you know? And I've spoken about it in other videos, about what you bring, what you have, who you are, and that you're unique and you bring something individual to the table. We all do. You know, regardless of what your job is, regardless of what you're trying to do, you know, whether you're starting a business or whether you're starting a YouTube channel or whatever it is, we all each bring something different to the table. And your uniqueness and the thing that makes you you is the thing that you should praise and the thing that you should lift up. You know, you might be a quiet little church mouse and not really a sort of extroverted kind of person, and you don't have to be. We're all different. You know, we all serve a purpose and we're all here. We're all here to do what we're all here to do, says the key maker in the Matrix, of course. So many references to the Matrix, I love it. But you have to get to that point where you have confidence in yourself that comes from you. You know, and it's nice to be validated from the outside. Of course it is. We all like to be praised. We all like to be validated, and we all like to be told we're special. But we shouldn't have to rely on other people telling us we're special. We should know it in ourselves and know that we are loved. We're never alone, although it seems like we're alone. Remember the singularity, the one. We all come from one. Whether you believe in science, whether you believe in religion, whatever your background belief is, we all come from the same source. You know, science, they call it the singularity. You know, in religion, it's the one, it's the divine source, it's the consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we all come from the same place. So we all have that spark, that seed of that whatever you want to call it, that divinity, that creative energy, that whatever it is that makes the world and the universe. We all have a bit of that inside us. We're all part of that. We are all the same. And we need to recognize that as such, we are all special. And if we can do that, then, you know, the self-confidence issues and judgment from outside, you know, while it helps us to correct and maybe change course if we're going down a, you know, a path that isn't right for us, let's put it that way. You know, constructive criticism, if you want to call it that, can be a good thing because it can help you guide you and correct you on your path. But, you know, if it's just criticism, then you need to be able to get to a point where it doesn't affect you so deeply that it can throw you off track and throw you for a loop, make you go into a depressive state because of someone's opinion that realistically shouldn't really faze you. Now, as I've said before, I love movies, I love books, and I remember one of the other things that used to really bug me, and it still does, of course. You know, I left school when I was 15, and by all accounts and by all rights, the way that we're told, the education system is the only way you can be educated, of course. I should be thick as pig shit, you know. I shouldn't be able to do anything. I shouldn't be able to talk. I shouldn't be able to. My entire life should be about sweeping streets and emptying bins. I'm not putting down people who do that, because I've done it. I've been a cleaner. I've cleaned toilets. I've done you name it. I've done it. Worked in a fuel station. I've worked as a chef. Been on TV, and you know, it builds humility in yourself, because I think part of the other issues that we all face is that we have this image of what success looks like. You know, success at a sport, success at your job, success in life. Do you have to drive a fancy car? Do you have to wear the right clothes? Do you have to look a certain way? Do you have to have a haircut that I can't have at the moment because it's illegal to get a haircut? But you know, what does success look like? What does success mean to you? And when you can define that for yourself, you know, those self-confidence issues go away. You know, I'm financially, I'm you know, not successful according to the world, but You know, if I have a look at my life compared to 90% of the planet, I have a roof over my head, I have food on the table, I have a piece of shit old car, but I have a car. You know, so am I successful in the eyes of the world? Probably not. But am I successful? I've succeeded at so many things in my life. You know, I've got a beautiful wife, wonderful children, all 3 of my children and 4 of my grandchildren now. You know, I, as far as I'm concerned, I am successful. But this is the thing, we judge ourselves by society's expectations, by other people's expectations of how we fit into that. And when we judge ourselves by other people's standards, then you can never match up to that. You know, there's a very small proportion of the world is billionaires. And even smaller proportion, sort of a larger proportion, sorry, are millionaires. But it's still a small proportion of the population of the whole planet. And when we're judging ourselves by the standards set by others, you're always going to be a failure. We have to get to that point where we can say, I am me, I am successful in my own right. And if you don't think you are, you can do something about it. You can read some books. Like I said, the books that I quoted, Divine Matrix, Greg Braden, I mean, amazing book, amazing. There's a movie called The Secret that's changed my life. Absolutely changed my life. It's about the law of attraction. I did a video about it a few months ago, about the law of attraction and about how that works and what it means to you. I advise watching it to everyone. It's also a book, so if you're more into reading, if you learn by reading, then please get the book. Or Feel the Fear and Do It anyway. There's many others. I'm just trying to think of some of the other ones I've got and some of the other ones I've read. 7 Habits of Highly Influential People or Highly Effective People. How to Win Friends and Influence People. You know, Dale Carnegie. There's many books that you could read that will help you with self-confidence and will help you get past that hump of not understanding things. If you want to be more successful financially, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, amazing. And there's plenty of other works out there that can help you get past the issues that are holding you back. So at the end of the day, I think the point I'm trying to make is if you have self-confidence issues and it's something that you can change, like if you're overweight, I'm carrying a bit of extra weight at the moment because, you know, the Prime Minister of this country told me to work from home. So as a chef, I've been working from home. But the problem is I've also been eating all my work. So if it is a weight issue, then do some exercise, you know. Oh, but I've got a thyroid issue, you know. Okay. Then come to terms with it and accept that that's just how it's going to be. We each have to take responsibility for how we feel about ourselves, but also understand that we can change ourselves. You are not locked into who you are. You can be who and whatever you want to be. If you're quiet, then there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if there's something you can change about yourself, then change it, and take some responsibility as well for making those changes in your own life. Because no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to come along and just make your life wonderful and make it rich and full and everything's wonderful now. It doesn't work that way. We each have to take some time and educate yourself. If you don't read very good, you know, you can learn. So preparation and execution of, you know, first understanding why these things trigger us is the key. You have to understand the problem first. If it is a problem, if it's not, then wonderful. You know, I hope your life is wonderful and rich and everything is great. But we each have to come to that point where we can do something about it if we don't like something and move forward from there. So I hope this has dealt with the issue. I hope I've done something to help those people that are lacking self-confidence or have insecurities about certain things. We all do. We all do. Don't fear it because it's normal. People who are the most confident on the outside have insecurities as well. Don't worry. We all do. You're not alone. You're not the only person in the world feeling like you do. And as long as you understand that, then you can move past it. Also, take the time to reach out to people and talk to them. maybe share the video. If you think it's beneficial to you, then maybe it's going to be beneficial to other people. But if we share information, we talk about things, and we're there for people, and we're there to listen, and we're there to have conversations, then the world's going to be a better place. All right. Well, from me, from this beautiful part of the world down here on the Suffolk coast, to you, wherever you are in the world, I hope your day is as wonderful as this is here. And I'd like you to go out to the world, share some love, give some love, be good, do good, and I look forward to seeing you on the next round. Take care. See you soon. Bye.